first time, please comment below, do the social media thing where you like, share, subscribe, wherever you're watching this video, whatever the social things are. Do that, so you get to see these videos going forward. So today I wanted to do a really quick talk on what makes a great leader. So we all know what great leadership looks like and what mediocre or bad leadership looks like. So, great leadership, examples of that is the boss that everyone wants to work for because they feel really heard, supported, and empowered to do their jobs. It's the civic leaders that point the way forward very clearly, acknowledging hardships, acknowledging the things that we'll celebrate along the way with a sense of optimism and hope. It's older siblings or family members that, show the younger folks, your younger siblings or kids, how to do schoolwork or how to behave properly in different social settings, that type of intangible learning. And, these are all different examples from different cuts of life. We also know what bad leadership looks like. It's the manager who will throw everyone else under the bus to make themselves look good and competent, right? Instead of facing the music when they make mistakes. It's civic leaders that rely on, tapping into anger and fear consistently to, stay in power, and because they don't know the way forward. It's, siblings that get involved in the wrong things and teach their younger brothers and sisters, drugs and stuff like that. So you have this huge swath of behaviors, and what makes the difference between someone that is a positive influence, that's positively leading, and someone that is negative? Well, it kind of comes down to who do you think is a great leader and what made them that way? So for me, people that have really inspired me in my career in tech along the ways, my very first manager at Walmart Corporate, Max Miller, was very, very supportive and practiced that servant leadership. That was a book that came out years ago, but really trying to clear roadblocks for people so that they could perform at their best. He was really awesome at that, gave me some really awesome advice in business in general, which is if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Just don't make the same mistake twice, which is invaluable. So, for him, or in that particular situation, he was very, very great at listening, at solving problems kind of together. Hey, I'm having trouble with this customer. And it's like, okay, well, let's try this. Or how have you thought about it? And then, yeah, that's great. Or, hey, maybe go this way. So that little kind of gentle guiding in order to, make the work more effective was really great. I also had, my manager at Apple, Andy, was really good at, hey, you're smart. You're hired to do great things here. I'll listen to you. You lead the way, and I'll adjust it as needed. So he's very hands-off, but very great at setting the visions. Like, okay, this is where the team's going in the next year. So we need to be doing these moves now. So I'm very thankful for leaders like that. But to break it down, I have 5 points here, 5-ish points, on what I think makes a great leader. The first is a great leader enlists and empowers people. Now, what do I mean by that? Like yesterday, if you were watching, we had the video about the number one mantra in leadership, which is people follow what they co-create, which should be said over and over and over and over and over again. And that's related to this. You want to, as a leader, whether it's in your family, it's in your work, it's out in the community for a volunteer thing or a church thing or whatever, you want to be engaging the people that are on the team, right? Part of the group. And it doesn't matter if it's, the top of the organization or somebody that just joined in, giving them the chance to say, how can we solve this problem? How do you think about it? and having that shape the plans on how you move forward and attack can really change the dynamic of a team. It can really help people get buy-in. But more importantly, it gives them ownership of the process, you know? So if it's their idea, they're going to fight more when there's hardships, when things kind of go sideways, that thing you didn't expect happens, and then you have to go fight that fire. They're more likely to just jump on it. Just like that song. I don't know why that popped in my head. So, live video. I guess a little bit of stream of consciousness from me, so hope. Just deal with it. I can't stop it, so. Alright, so first point, to enlist and empower people. The second is to just focus on developing others. I feel one of the biggest aha moments in my career in tech was realizing that, you know, sometimes you just need to help people equip themselves to deal with situations. Whether in you know, working in software, it was how do you research issues in this system, or how do you solve these types of problems, or hey, like just basic soft skill stuff. What do you think's going on with that person? Well, I think they're just a jerk. It's like, what? How do you know that? well, they did this and this, and like, is there any other explanation? Could they be having a bad day? Like, yeah, I guess they could. Like, let's go ask. You know, something that simple, but you know, training people to check in, to not assume intention for other people, to really like be curious in those like soft skill things, or on how to not get out of the frustration of, hey, this thing isn't working the way I want it to. And like, well, how do we get it to work? Well, there's all these different resources online, or you got to talk to the subject matter expert, whatever. But if you're a great leader, and I hope you are, it's all about developing people and developing them to empower them to solve problems on their own, or to know who to talk to when they need to. Third point is, for me, I think a great leader envisions the future for the group very clearly. So if you're working for someone, or there's someone that's heading the group that does not know where things are going, it's very hard for them to make strategic or even tactical moves that prevent stress, that prevent mistakes, that you know, position the group in a way where, you know, if there's a layoff, they're, you know, too important to be cut, you know, or it's a position in the market where, hey, everything changed, but you were ready to take advantage of the, you know, COVID, right? Everyone that had online businesses like mine didn't see a big transition with it. People that had jobs that were deemed not essential, huge impact. And, you know, not recovered yet. So, how could people have maybe anticipated that? How could we have done things differently to prevent the mass shutdown? Like, it's a good question, and very, very charged question, so I'm not going to get into it here. But, you know, having that vision on where the group's going, having that vision on, you know, backup plans, essentially, right? If this happens, how are we going to respond to it? I think makes a really great leader and helps them not stress out so much, right? Because you need to be confident as you're telling folks, hey, this is what we got to do to move forward. Okay. Fourth point is to embody the behaviors and norms for the people on the team, or people in the group or organization. So if you've ever worked for someone that didn't understand the work you were doing, or someone that thought they were above doing whatever task that was, you know, this family is as much as it is work, you know, it's really tough to follow those types of people. So, hey, I don't understand how to do software engineering, but I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. I'm going to put unreasonable deadlines on you because I don't understand the work. I'm just, oh, you're going to have that done by tomorrow. I had that guy. It's like, what do you mean we're going to do this tomorrow? There's so many different steps to this. And, you know, if we code it up, which is going to take a week, then we're going to have to test it for a week, and then we have to, get it ready for change control. We have to put it into the system. There's a month's worth of work that you're saying we need to have done by tomorrow, and you keep making those requests. We keep explaining it to you, but you're losing credibility with the people doing the actual work in that particular case. But it could also be, a parent saying, "Hey, you're doing the chores wrong," but refuses to actually show. This is how we do it, or maybe that's not a great example, but it's what I came up with off the top of my head. So, but yeah, not being able to show the way, to have that patience, to really sit with and guide people through the process, can really hurt your credibility. But the best leaders will just do that, right? So you can say, "Oh, my manager was coding all the time, so he gets what I'm going through. He gets what's going on." So anyways, I feel like I'm ranting on that. We'll move on to the fifth and final point, which is I feel that great leaders encourage people to be their best, right? So it's having a really astute level of emotional intelligence to say, okay, here's where you are. Here's where we need to get you in order to make you more effective on the team. Again, either in your profession or technically, or with dealing with people. If you're going to be leading people, you need to approach work in a different way, especially if you come from an analytical path. You got to approach work in a different way than when you're just dealing with people. So you have to be considerate and think about the things you're saying. You need to think about how you're saying it and how the person's going to respond to it in order to get the result that you want or the organization needs. And you can do that through coercion, or you can do that through persuasion and guidance. And I tend to think the latter will get you better results, especially if you have kind of nebulous work, like technology is a lot of the time. So I'd love to hear what makes a good leader to you, and what do you think good leadership is all about. If you would, comment below this video with that, just to kind of take a poll. I hope, really, at the end of the day, this whole video is all about, how do you lead? And what do you think is important to leadership for you? Because that, I feel, is the start of the journey. I probably should have done this video on Monday instead of on a Wednesday morning, but, c'est la vie, figuring it out as we go along. So, yeah, I hope this served you. I hope you're thinking about what makes great leaders, what makes you a great leader, and how maybe you can show up or change or lead with a little bit more of one of these points, to enlist more support, to just focus on developing other folks, to envision the future for the group, or embody the behaviors that you'd want others to have in the group, or just to encourage people to do their best no matter what. Because I think if you have these 5 points in your leadership style, at the very least, that you're going to be one leg up most other leaders. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go out there, have more joy, personal growth, and impact in your communities, and see you tomorrow.